What's up, Acolyte Squad? My name is Prince and I'm an urban acolyte. This video, let's talk about how Moff Gideon has played everyone in The Mandalorian and in the Star Wars fandom. I'm talking about all of y'all got played.
This is the way.
All right, so in the season 2 finale, we finally got to see Moff Gideon in action with the Darksaber. He's got the Darksaber. He's fighting Din Djarin armed with that Beskar steel spear. And a lot of people felt like, yo, man, Moff Gideon was a punk. Like, he got punked out by Din Djarin. He was weak. He was weak AF, man. That's what I've been seeing in the comment section on Twitter, maybe in my videos. I don't know. I haven't even checked. But, you know, man, Moff Gideon is playing y'all. I'm telling you, don't go for it. All I'm saying is we had this really big thing happen in the episode, and it's like, if Moff Gideon showed up and showed out, it would have gotten completely overshadowed by that really big thing that happened in the episode. But I'm telling you, Moff Gideon, he played everybody, and I'm explaining it to you in this video. I'm going to break it down, but real quick, let me take care of some housekeeping. All right, so this is the homepage to the channel. Some of you may not have seen this because I get a lot of questions about, Prince, where's this video? What happened to this? What happened to this? And I'm like, yo, homie, it's right here on the homepage. So as you can see, I've been doing a reaction series to Cobra Kai. I'm trying to get ready for season 3 because, yo, man, I've been down with Cobra Kai since day A when it was still on YouTube, and I had YouTube TV back in the US. So I feel like I've been waiting, like 2-3 years on season 3. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do the reaction series. I don't know if you can hear my wife talking in the background. Her family's here. You know, my nephew, if you've been following me on Instagram or the Facebook page, you've been seeing me share stories. Like, I've been using a lot of that to talk about the fitness stuff and kind of a behind the scenes look at my life. So make sure you're following me, especially on Instagram at Urban Acolyte. Right. So I may just have to watch the episodes and then do recaps because these reaction videos, they take a long time to edit. Right. Like this last one took me like an hour and a half, and it was a 20-minute video where I could have just watched the episode and told you my thoughts for about 5 to under 10 minutes and been done with it. You know, we've got Marvel stuff, everything else, but and I still got to I can't even scroll. I still got to do my Wonder Woman 1984 full review now that everyone has seen the movie, and I really don't care what everybody's saying online. I have my thoughts, and those are my thoughts, and this is the place where I share my thoughts. But I wanted to draw your attention to the personal channel because this guided Jedi meditation session video that I recorded like 4 years ago is there. I'm saying that because all of my little real life Jedi meditation, Tai Chi videos, I'm taking them all off the channel and moving them to this channel because this channel is where all the old videos that started out as Urban Acolyte videos, they all got migrated here. This is where the real mission that Urban Acolyte was started for, and I forgot about it, but it came to me yesterday. Is one of my favorite authors. He's also a college professor at the University of Rhode Island. Challenged me to attempt to bridge the gap between Eastern spirituality and Western tradition. And so all of the stuff I talk about on Christian mysticism, there's a video on here. I can't find it right now. I'm talking, but a lot of the stuff I've done on Christian mysticism come from his books, all the Daskalo stuff and whatever. And if you've never seen any of those videos, and you have no idea what I'm talking about, so you probably just hear and care about the Mandalorian unless you left because Princess this isn't what you promised. This is clickbait. You're not talking about Moff Gideon, right? But I'm telling you guys, Moff Gideon is playing you, like I've been saying in a bunch of videos, right? I think that Moff Gideon is force sensitive. I've been saying it for a hot minute. And, you know, I've seen people leaving the comments, Prince, man, why are you on this Moff Gideon thing? Moff Gideon's not force sensitive. If he was force sensitive, he would have, he wouldn't be needing Grogu for his experiments. He would just use his own blood. Prince Moff Gideon, I don't know why you're sticking to this crazy Moff Gideon's force sensitive thing, Prince. You need to let it go. You need to let it go. First of all, I'm not the only person who's talked about Moff Gideon being force sensitive. Right now, when I initially thought about it, it was just a passing thought, and it wasn't until Giancarlo Esposito started talking up the character. So if anything, Giancarlo Esposito is just an excellent salesperson for season 2 of The Mandalorian, and especially for his character, that he was like, oh yeah, I do a lot of stuff with the Darksaber. I broke a couple of the props. You know, is Gideon, is he one of the ones? Is he Vader's heir? Saying stuff like that, right? Now, like I said, I'm not the only person. Here's my video, Moff Gideon is Force Sensitive Theory, Star Wars Coffee. Oh, look, it's Shadow Artist. It's your favorite YouTube channel for Star Wars. The Stupendous Way, Moff Gideon Force Sensitive and the Darth Vader Connection. Moff Gideon teases Force Sensitive again by Star Wars Coffee, right? Is The Mandalorian's Moff Gideon has Force power hints. Giancarlo Esposito teases that Moff Gideon could be Force sensitive. Why Moff Gideon is so important for the, I don't even know who that is, a comic book, CBR, right? This was Entertainment Tonight. They were the ones that everybody got the Nerdist. Is Moff Gideon a Force user? Moff Gideon Force sensitive, the Stupendous. Oh, he's done it twice. 2 videos, one in July, one in September, from your favorite Star Wars channel, dude. But you're popping off in my comments about me. Oh, Screen Rant. Mandalorian villain Moff Gideon may be Force sensitive. Moff Gideon has a surprising connection to the Force. Oh, they're on Reddit. Back in January 2020, when I first thought it, but kept it to myself. Moff Gideon wants to be Force sensitive. I've actually seen that theory in the comment section of my videos, where people thought that Moff Gideon was trying to extract Grogu's midichlorians and give himself Force abilities. Is Moff Gideon Force sensitive? Moff Gideon searched for Baby Yoda to discover the secrets of Giancarlo Esposito suggested the untold truth of Moff Gideon. Looper, there's evidence that Gideon is Force sensitive. This was even in December while The Mandalorian was running. So I'm not the only person who's thought that the possibility that Moff Gideon can be Force sensitive, right? And that's why I say he's playing you. Remember what he said in the episode.
A friendly piece of advice. Assume that I know everything.
A friendly bit of advice. Assume that I know everything is what Moff Gideon says. Now, you know, a lot of the Moff Gideon talk and banter that I've been seeing have been from people who don't pay attention to details, right? So we see Moff Gideon, he's a Moff, right? He's, at this point, he's an Imperial warlord, and we have no idea how much power he actually has, how much, but he seems to be deep in the Outer Rim. But you know, his ship, he's not running around in a Star Destroyer, right? His ship didn't seem to have as much. His forces weren't. I'll say he didn't have as many stormtroopers as we thought, but that could be because he had the dark troopers, right? So we don't know how powerful he is as far as his power base, how many people are actually following him. But at this point, we just assume that everyone who remains from the Empire that's out there on the Outer Rim is under Moff Gideon's control, right? But assume that he knows everything. One of the reasons that he lost the battle to Din Djarin. You're like, well, Prince, if he was Force sensitive, how come he didn't use the Force? Right? Is maybe he was testing Din Djarin, and it's like, well, if I let him take the Darksaber, Bo-Katan wants it. She's, strictly because she lost it to me, right? In the eyes of the Mandalorians, right? She has to defeat me to be the rightful ruler, right? The rightful possessor of the Darksaber. And the only way that she can ever be seen as being legitimate is she can't take a L. She has to win it from someone, right? Because there's a question, why did she take it from Sabine Wren, but she wouldn't take it from Din Djarin, right? That's my thought is, right? Sabine won it, but it was lost, and it was, it wasn't such a big deal the way that it was passed. But in this case, because she lost it specifically to Moff Gideon, everyone knows it. The only way that she can take it back legitimately to the Mandalorians who know about, who know what happened, is that she has to win it from him, right? So with him losing to Din Djarin, now there's an issue, right? Is that now that kind of does something with that alliance, right? He's running with Bo-Katan. Bo-Katan's trying to recruit him to her cause. But now it's like, well, I think I've just thrown a wrench in her plans, right? With the restoration of Mandalore. Now there's still, even though I might not have the Darksaber, the Mandalorians are still in a state of confusion. They're still in a state where they can't rise, right? Because of me plotting and planning. And so Bo-Katan were going to attempt to fight him to take it back or whatever. Well, that would have given Moff Gideon the opportunity to escape, the opportunity to kill them all, or like we kind of saw, he was stalling until the Dark Troopers came. And I don't think Luke Skywalker showing up, I don't think he was expecting that, right? So assume that I know everything, well, except that Luke Skywalker was going to come screaming out of nowhere in an X-Wing and rush off with the child, with Grogu. But at this point, he said he didn't need him. And that raises another point because, if Moff Gideon's Force sensitive, he would use his own blood for the experiments, not Grogu. How do we know that he didn't, right? What we find out is that Grogu's blood has special properties. And that's why he's the one that was needed for the experiment. Who knows, however, how many other Force sensitives or Jedi survivors, Moff Gideon, and maybe if this goes all the way to Palpatine, that they've captured and used for these experiments, right? That prison that we saw in Star Wars Rebels, right, where Varys Offee's master, what's her name again? I forgot. Luminara Unduli, right? She died there. They captured her and she died there, right? She might have been part of those experiments that Moff Gideon is conducting or that Palpatine is conducting. Who knows, right? An extension of, I'm guessing, maybe some of Plague. Well, the essence transfer thing, that was totally. Well, no, I don't want to say that was Plagueis' work, because we really don't know exactly what Plagueis was doing, other than he was conducting experiments, looking into the deeper aspects of the Force and trying to understand some older Sith science, Sith alchemy, and mixing it with science is what we assume, right? All we really know is that Palpatine had Plagueis research, and he was continuing to explore that in his efforts to understand the full power of the dark side of the Force. But Moff Gideon being Force sensitive, it's still on the table for me, right? Like I said, why would they reveal that when we've already got, Din Djarin's going to take the Darksaber and Luke Skywalker's going to come and show up and save everyone, right? Is that it's like if Gideon gets captured, where would that fit in with the story? You got to think about good storytelling, right? I say stuff, people are like, Prince, I'm like, what did I say about The Last Jedi? You don't want to do too much with the story. If you try to throw out everything, people are not going to remember everything. They're not going to remember those details, right? What do people remember about this episode? That Luke Skywalker showed up and that Din Djarin has the Darksaber. And I might not even remember that part. It's just Luke Skywalker showed up. That's all people remember. So I'm telling you, Moff Gideon got captured. But Giancarlo Esposito was like, you're not going to find out the full story, everything that's going on until season 4. Moff Gideon being captured by the Republic, that takes him off the table. Now, he could free himself. If he has the Force, that would be an easy way for him to escape, right? Is that he starts force choking people, he gets inside and gathers some intel. Because remember, he is an ISB agent, right? But it takes him off the table heading into season 3. And right now we've got this big conflict with Din Djarin has the Darksaber, but he doesn't want it. And now he's basically the rightful ruler. He's Mandalore, right? Din Djarin is Mandalore at this point, right? He's got the symbol of the ruler, the symbolic weapon of the ruler of Mandalore, and he doesn't know anything about that. He's belonged to this small cult that's devoted to the old ways, and he doesn't know anything about the greater Mandalore, the real Mandalorian society, right? He's just seen a small pocket, a weird pocket, right? He belonged to a small cult, right? And now it's like, oh, there's this bigger thing. And then what's the word that we've always gotten with regard to returning to Mandalore, with restoring Mandalore? There's nothing there. It's a glass sea. The planet's nothing but glass. There's nothing there but death, right? So that's the big story for where Din Djarin's story appears to be headed, right? And then the fact that this was Duchess Satine Kryze, Bo-Katan Kryze. This is something, as far as we know, that has been within this one family. And to get into the whole idea of like the Mandalorian is going Game of Thrones, that was something that I heard before the show started. And then I was saying it back in the summer, heading into, I was like, yo, man, they're going to kind of do this Game of Thrones thing. And we're going to get into the houses of Mandalore and restoring Mandalore and who's going to be on the Iron Throne, or in this case, wield the Darksaber. And now it's kind of like they just made Din Djarin Jon Snow. And I'm hoping he doesn't turn out. What's he going to do? He's going to take the Darksaber and he's going to hook up with Bo-Katan and then take the Darksaber, kill her in the end. We're going to get sold on a Bo-Katan Din Djarin romance, even though she's at least 15. She's probably about 15 years older than he is, but man, it is what it is. She aged well, so I'm not even going to say what I'm thinking, right? I'm not even going to go there because I was about to say something really inappropriate, right? But, yeah, so, season 3, Din Djarin knocking them Bo-Katan boots. That's why Grogu can't be around Din Djarin. I will stop. But anyway, so that's where the story is headed, and I feel like taking Moff Gideon off the board, taking Grogu off the board, allows them to focus on that story. But I think it's still going to come around. I'm still going with Moff Gideon is force sensitive, and that he's kind of laying and waiting until he can figure out how to make everything work again in his favor. Because like he said, at this point, assume that I know everything. Now, the final thing is I really feel like, this story is, it was something I didn't want to accept early on into the sequel saga that, yo, man, they're doing the Jedi Prince, right? With Rey was Ken in the Jedi Prince series. Go back and look at, I brought it up in multiple videos. I think I started with a video, summer 2016, is Rey the Jedi Princess, right? In the Jedi Prince series, we had this person who told everyone he was Palpatine's son, but he wasn't. Eventually, he got toppled, he got disgraced, he got humiliated by his advisors, who were like this dark side, the prophets of the dark side. And these prophets of the dark side, they were allegedly all like, you know, dark side seers, prophets, right? But they were actually ISB agents. They had everybody fooled, believing that they had the Force, right? That they were some kind of dark side mystics. But they were actually ISB agents, right? They were led by Kadan, who became the supreme leader or something. Kadan, or something like that. Yeah. And that's where I started coming up with the idea that Snoke was a fraud, that Snoke is not, there's somebody else behind that has the real power. It's not Snoke. Now, I never thought it was Palpatine, but like I said, now that we have the full story, that I was right the whole time. There was somebody else. I even thought that they were going to be a Sith Lord, but I just never thought it would be Palpatine. And I was like, Kylo Ren is going to kill Snoke, and then he's going to go to whoever has the real power, right? Seeking knowledge or something, right? Or I even thought maybe it's like somehow Palpatine's spirit is there, or Palpatine holocron, or some way that, you know, he would get in touch with Palpatine, you know, to find the real power that was behind Snoke. And it turned out to be Palpatine the whole time. I guess they needed to dumb down the story just to get it over with, because they weren't going to do 3 more movies. Like I felt like, yo, man, we need to do 3 more movies to really unpack all of this. You need more time. That didn't happen. But where you see I'm going with this is that you had Kadan. Now, what happened is later, all of that didn't necessarily get retconned. That's why I'm like, yo, man, Star Wars doesn't really retcon stuff. So you need to get it out of your head if you're one of these, oh, yeah, the Mandalorian's going to retcon The Last Jedi. Oh, in a few years, they're going to retcon the sequel. This shit's not going to happen, man. You need to get it out of your mind, or stop watching Star Wars, go watch Marvel. You know who probably will retcon stuff? The DCEU, except they won't retcon anything. They'll just make a new galaxy, a new universe, to say, oh yeah, this is part of the multiverse. So this story happened this way, but in this other multiverse where we're now telling this story, right, things split here. This is where the another reality split off of this one, right? Star Wars, there's no multiverse. There's not going to be one. I don't care who you listen to that says that they're definitely doing it. They're not going to do it right now. I don't know, 10 years, 20 years, maybe that could change. But right now, that ain't happening, partner. Right? So in the Legends canon, the expanded universe, eventually they were like, you know what? We did this Jedi Prince series. It happened. It kind of sucked because we wrote the story for 10-year-olds. And now we're going to expand on this. So it turned out that the Kadan in the Jedi Prince was an imposter. There really was a dark side prophets group. They were offshoots of the Sith or something like that. There really was a Kadan who was a dark side wizard, mystic, everything that Kadan, this fake Kadan who was an ISB agent, claimed to be, right? He said he could see into the Force. That's how he knew everything. But really, he had the ISB spies everywhere feeding him this information. But then there really was a dude who was exactly what fake Kadan claimed to be, right? And they went that direction. And I'm like, you know what? Why not just merge the characters into one? You had the Imperial Remnant. That was who they were battling in the Jedi Prince series, right? We had the Jedi Remnant who scattered into the unknown regions, right? It was they weren't exactly following Palpatine's contingency plan. It was a contingency gone wrong because Gallius Rax thought that Palpatine's contingency plan was made for him to become Palpatine's heir, right? Just like Trioculus. It was Trioculus who believed he was Palpatine's heir, his son, right? And then it turned out Palpatine really did have a son who was a mutant. It was like Palpatine had a son who was a clone, who was Rey's father. Palpatine's mutant son was Ken's father. I'm telling y'all, that's why, like, people want me to trash the sequel saga. And I'm like, there's things I didn't like, but I understood where they were going. And if I can look at a story and I'm like, okay, I understand why they did that. I understand that. I understand that. If I can understand it, then it's like, okay, well, I don't agree with that choice, but I understand the story and I can teach from it. I don't know. I don't have these, even with the Luke Skywalker thing. It's like, I didn't think that it should have been Luke. I understand why, right? Just like I said, if I can understand, I understand why it was Luke. I understand that, that it makes sense. But then we get into personally. Like, personally, I didn't really want to see Luke. I wanted to see somebody else. And I'm willing to say that, right? I can admit it. A lot of other folks can't, right? I say, well, why didn't you like this movie? Why didn't you like, whoa, it was objective. It was bad. Everyone knows it was bad. It was the worst movie ever. Oh, so you're telling me that The Last Jedi was worse than Dragon Ball Evolution? And my friend wrote that. Well, they didn't. If you know the full story about Ben Ramsey's script, but he took credit for, why it was bad, even though at the end of the day, I think you can read his script. I haven't read it. I'm not going to, because Ben doesn't care and I don't. Even if I start covering Dragon Ball, still won't care. It's no big deal, right? But I know Geekdom has read it and probably talked on it, and we talked about it. And I think he said, his script was better than the actual movie. Right now, I'll tell y'all something else that there would have been. They tried to turn Costas and Costas students, the Mopai guys who watch my Star Wars channels, they know this. They tried to turn Hollywood. Costas, when he wrote his books, he wanted to have a movie made about them, to really encourage, hey guys, this like Jedi stuff, there's real people out there that do this stuff, that are about that life, right? And they have no interest in taking the James Randi challenge or doing other stuff. In the case of the late Dynamo Jack is what I'll call him, right? He was already wealthy, so why take the James Randi challenge? Well, he could get $1 million. Why is he going to do that when he could just live his life and make that money? And then on top of that, a lot of people who were like that, they don't care about money and wealth and fame and all of that, right? A lot of people you see the world from where you are and not from where they are, right? It's just like an ant. An ant is not, and I'm sure there's probably an ant crawling on me right now. Gets in from out that window right there that's giving me this light. I'm not even using light for my green screen. I'm just using the window light. That ant's not thinking about this dude sitting here talking, into a microphone and a camera and got audio and watching, this show on his computer through the internet. Not thinking about all of that. They don't see the world that way, right? But, and that's the same thing, like getting back to Star Wars, like Moff Gideon. He's not seeing this story the way everyone else is because he's the bad guy. He's the one that's causing everyone else to react to what he's doing, right? So when I say that he's playing you, he's playing everyone, right? He's not seeing the story from our perspective. He's got a higher view. He's got an eagle-eye view. He's seeing the bigger picture. And that's what I'm trying to get people to do, right? Sometimes I say this is how I personally feel about the story, but I'm telling you, there's something about Moff Gideon and him being force sensitive and not showing it, not displaying it, makes total sense. That could totally be part of his plan, right? Lose the Darksaber, test out Din Djarin, see what he's capable of. All right. What is it? From the Matrix, you cannot know your opponent unless you cannot know your opponent unless you fight them. Right. That's what Seraph said. Right. That's why he wanted to fight Neo. He fought Smith too, sparred with him. Right. Moff Gideon needed to size up Din Djarin, see what he was talking about. Right. What's he talking about? Right. And then he loses the duel. He could have pulled out his Force abilities, but he's like, nope, I'm going to keep that card. I'm not going to play that card. I'm going to keep it up my sleeve. He fights Din Djarin, loses the Darksaber, and now how can I make this work in my favor? Oh, I can get Din Djarin and Bo-Katan to fight over the Darksaber while I call in call in reinforcements. Or I can kill them both, right? Find them when they're vulnerable. He'd have to find weak points in Din Djarin's armor. Maybe he was hoping that Bo-Katan would kill him for him, right? She's the more experienced fighter. And he's like, well, I've already beaten her, so I can do it again. Maybe he used the Force against her to take the Darksaber from her the first time, right? Who knows? All right, but I think he wanted to use that as a diversion. He was stalling, and Luke showing up, that wasn't planned. That wasn't expected. But you know what? I'll just make an adjustment. I'll adapt, right? That's how I went from being an ISB agent to a Moff. That's the big question that nobody seems to be asking. How did he go from an ISB agent? And if you... I'm like, man, maybe, you don't watch Rebels, you don't watch any of that stuff. You just hear for the Mandalorian in the movies. All right. So Agent Callus was an ISB agent, right? He seemed to be pretty high up there, at least how they presented him in Rebels, right? I mean, Colonel Wolf Yularen is over the ISB, right? He died on the Death Star. So, maybe it was Moff Gideon got promoted. Well, no. Maybe Moff Gideon got a promotion after Yularen died. So he hadn't been a Moff that long. I mean, he was an ISB agent on Mandalore during the time of Rogue One and A New Hope. He would have probably still been there because the Mandalorians, their little civil war against the Empire started right before Rogue One, right? In the final season of Rebels, that's how the Series 4 premiered with Sabine handed off the Darksaber to Bo-Katan, and in between that time, the end of season 3 and season 4, we believed that they were doing stuff there on Mandalore, searching for Sabine's father first, right, to unite her house and her family, and the clans that fell under or the houses, the families that fell under her family's house or their clan or whatever, right? Clan ran. Yeah, that's how it would have worked. So, sorry, my wife just made me forget everything I was talking about because she tends to do that, right? When I see her, I just forget all the Star Wars bullshit. I don't know if y'all can hear, but I totally just lost everything. I forgot everything. That's really a first that's ever happened to me. Like, I completely forgot everything. Like, she came up here and she's my little nephew is about to try to come upstairs. That's what she's saying, is she's telling him that I'm up here working, So yeah, I had a point. I don't remember it. Family's more important than any of this shit. And Moff Gideon is playing you guys. He's playing everybody in the story. He's still, hey man, he's pulling all the strings, just like Palpatine pulled the strings. Maybe Palpatine's pulling his strings, or maybe he's acting independently. I don't know, but he's calling the shots. He's playing you guys. That's my TED Talk. Thanks for coming. I gotta hurry up and get this video up. Actually, I'm probably not gonna be able to edit the video till tonight. It's morning here for me, but Yeah, I think till ATN goes to sleep, I'm not going to be able to edit this video. So you guys will probably see it tomorrow, my time. But I recorded this Monday morning, 8:47. I'm signing off. I'll holler at you on the next one. So thanks for watching. Y'all keep on breathing, and may the force of others be with you always.